Deputy President and the coalition seeking that he is in, and the spilling of beans that we are seeing. What do you make of all that you've seen today?
For those who have been around for some time within the Kenyan political space, from 1992 all the way to now, there's nothing new. These are political gymnastics which have been there for years, from the time we were talking about multi-party democracy, the time of Matipa, the time of Mwai Kibaki. We used to see all manner of formations, but today is one of the weakest formation Kenya has ever seen in the history of multi-party democracy, because these are faces which have been there, except the face of one Rigathi Gachagua. This is a guy who has been a member of parliament for 5 years and a deputy president of the Republic of Kenya for 2 years. Kalonzo Musyoka has been there for 40 years. Eugene Wamalwa has been there for years. He has served in many ministries, and he can't show Kenyans what he has done, even to his people of Western. Kalonzo Musyoka has been there for more than 40 years. He has nothing to show what he has done to the Republic of Kenya. So there is nothing new which can come out of this coalition. And instead of them going to say how they are going to balkanize the Kenyan population in terms of tribes or region to acquire power, they should be telling Kenyans what they are going to do different with what the current government is doing. I didn't hear anything on what they are to offer to Kenyans. Instead, they are talking about canvas led by Kalonzo Musyoka, sit down, bring people together. Kikuyus led by Rigathi Gachagua, sit down, bring people together. Western, the Ruyas. I mean, we can't go to the ethnicity type of politics. We should be talking about the issues affecting Kenyans and the solutions which you are going to offer as a leader. Kalonzo Musyoka has been there for years. What are the problems which you have solved? Give us examples. Eugene Wamalwa, you have been a minister in more than 5 ministries. Tell us what you have done. Rigathi Gachagua has been there for 2 years. Tell us what you have done to the people of Kenya when you got an opportunity to serve them in one of the IS offices in the Republic of Kenya. Nothing. Totally nothing. He was given an opportunity to take care of coffee and tea. Instead, he went ahead to form his companies which you were saying they must get 3 shillings per kilo for every coffee sold from this country, for every tea auction in Mombasa. So it's about enriching himself. It's about selfish in the name of a community. I think this is type of politics which we have to ensure is not going to survive in this republic for the posterity of the future generations.
Mheshimiwa Nyutu, your quick reaction to what we've seen today.
Thank you very much, Maringa. And I've listened to my colleague, Honorable Ruto, but just before I react to what he has said, I personally attended that particular function. Yes. And I was there. And I've heard Ruto say that there's nothing new that this particular coalition in quotes is offering. But this is a coalition united against the issues that affect Kenyans, against a government that is oppressing Kenyans, against a government that is abducting and killing young people, against a government that has brought so many programs that do not benefit Kenyans, programs that are actually punishing Kenyans. And I want Honorable Ruto, when he comes back, not to be evasive. This is an issue-oriented coalition. It's not, and when Honorable Ruto says that it's based on tribes, I mean, these are Kenyans. They come from different parts of this country. Of course, everybody in this country belongs to a particular tribe. I mean, why it should be like when Ruto and Raila come together, that's not tribalism. But when especially the Kikuyu community come together, that's tribalism, then I think that's a very tired argument that we have had over very many years. I mean, we have been hearing about it. And I heard my friend, Honorable Ruto, dismiss it as the weakest coalition. And he has given us some historical background, which is good. I also want to remind him that in 2001, when Michael Kijana Wamalwa, Mwai Kibaki, Charity Gilu came together and they were holding those arena talks, of course, the Rokos of that time were dismissing it as a very weak coalition. But as fate would have it, that is the coalition, of course, joined by those that broke away from KANU. That is a coalition that brought an end to Moi's rule. Of course, Moi was going to retire that year, at the end of 2002. But then he had a project in the name of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. So it's not new to hear, the opposing side say that this is a weak coalition. And just to prove to you, Maranga, that this is not a weak coalition.
Yes.
The president went to Western Kenya for 6 days. And all he was discussing is Rigathi Gachagua, not even the coalition. Rigathi Gachagua, Rigathi Gachagua, Rigathi Gachagua, Gachagua this, Rigathi Gachagua that. That is not somebody that is weak. If the president cannot do any meeting without mentioning your name, of course it tells you. And if he took time to listen to the issues that especially Rigathi Gachagua raised, issues, and Rigathi Gachagua was in government, and he said that there is a lot of corruption happening in State House, and he even mentioned names. And he told us that even this bill, affordable housing program, is a sham. It's just something that has been concocted to see to it that people sell cement, people sell, steel products, and that kind of thing. There are very many issues that were raised. So it is a coalition against oppression. It's a coalition against the backwardness that this government is perpetrating.
Mheshimiwa Ruto, the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, while at it, served in this government, and whatever he's speaking about are things that he says he saw. Doesn't his opinion stand?
Rigathi Gachagua is telling lies to Kenyans, number one. Number two, he's one of the guys who was demanding huge amount of payment, 10 billion Kenyan shilling from President William Ruto for his, in quote, contribution in terms of the fort, which he keep on mentioning. Even today he was talking about 47% of the government. And therefore he was demanding 10 billion Kenyan shilling from the president, in quote again, for making him the president of the Republic of Kenya. Anybody who is of sane mind, we all know that before Rigathi Gachagua was nominated as the running mate for President William Ruto, he was running for Madera, Member of Parliament, and he had already had a certificate of UDA, nomination certificate for Member of Parliament for Madera constituency. A fellow who was running for Member of Parliament. I don't know when was the last time President William Ruto fight for parliamentary seats. It's many years ago. Yeah. And this is a guy who was preparing to be Member of Parliament for Madera 2 years ago. And the same guy who is claiming that he helped President William Ruto to garner 47% of the votes of Mount Kenya region. It's a big lie. And this lie will be demystified in a couple of 2.5 years from now. Okay. Come 2027. I'm telling you, my young brother.
Yes.
The time for regional balkanization in the name of getting vote is long gone. That's not the language which, not even the young generation, even our generation, who are in 40s and even in 30s, want to hear in terms of balkanizing the community.
Mheshimiwa,
We want issues to be resolved.
Before we move on,
and someone who is demanding 10 billion Kenyan shillings, is he a fellow who can talk about corruption? Someone who is registering companies so that the export of tea, the export of coffee can go through his companies. Is a fellow to talk about corruption?
Mheshimiwa John Nyutu, perhaps you can react before you proceed.
Yes. And
especially on the issue of balkanization.
Yes, thank you. But I also want to respond to Honorable Ruto's claim that Rigathi Gachagua was demanding 10 billion. It's important that as a leader, that when you make an allegation of that kind of magnitude, that you produce evidence. I mean, where did Rigathi Gachagua demand 10 billion? From whom? Was Ruto there? I mean, was Ruto the emissary that was sent to collect 10 billion for Rigathi Gachagua? And from whom? Number two, he talked about that he said that Rigathi Gachagua was taking 3 shillings something per kilo, and he failed the coffee industry. I mean, Honorable Ruto, surely, if that was the case, Rigathi Gachagua should have been taken to court. You have the machinery, government machinery now. You can take him to court for corruption, for demanding 10 billion, for taking money from our demanding for money. I mean, this is not true. And when he says that Rigathi Gachagua is lying by saying that he helped President Ruto get votes from Mount Kenya, I want to challenge Honorable Ruto to bring President Ruto now that Rigathi is not in government, to bring President Ruto to Nyeri, to Murang'a, to tell us whether he is still sure that President Ruto, without Rigathi Gachagua now, will get the 47% that he got.
That is just the precursor of this conversation. Before
in the month of March, President William Ruto will tour all the counties of Mount Kenya region.
Okay.
Or all the counties of Mount Kenya region. He will spend 2 weeks in Mount Kenya region, not 1 week.
Not 1 week.
Because he has been in Western for a week. He is going to spend 2 weeks in Mount Kenya region to talk about coffee, talk about tea, to talk about the projects, road projects, Mau Mau Road, to talk about the dams, to talk about the livelihood and the economic activities of the people of Mount Kenya region.
Let's pause it for now.
For the 2 good weeks in the month of March.
Let's pause it for now. We'll be coming back to this discussion. That's just the precursor, the top layer, the TL of this conversation. When we come back, much more with the gentleman right here. But before then, let's inform you more stories